Hey you, welcome to my channel, A Year and a Day. My name is Jenny and today I wanted to share my first impressions of the lighted window tarot. After a long day at my day job, it was a delight to come home and find this package had arrived. The Lighted Window Tarot was a Kickstarter I backed back in November. And I have to say that it was a very smooth campaign. The creator updated the backers regularly. The whole printing process seemed to go smoothly. And then to top it all off, the decks were sent out much sooner than expected. Now I hoped that I would receive this deck before the end of May, because I'm considering bringing it with me to the German Schwarzwald when I will be staying there this June. So to have it arrive already in April is quite a surprise. The package came with this thank you note that holds all the information of the creator. It also came with a sticker, and then there was this lovely pin. But of course we're all here to see the deck, so let's take a look at the cards. The deck comes in this hardcover box. So it doesn't slide open too easily. As you can see, the cards fit very snugly into the box. It also meant that it came without plastic wrapping or paper wrapping, without the cards being damaged. So I really appreciated that. The inside of the box is also illustrated, and the lid has the text, "Remember traveler, follow the light to find your way. The path is worn and the journey is long, but there are stories to be found." The guidebook shows the cards in full color with a little bit more room for the majors. And for each card we have some keywords, a write-up, an invitation, and then some themes and symbols. And the invitation for the magician, for example, is an invitation to take hold of the creativity, ideas, and inspiration around you to create something unique to you. For the High Priestess, an invitation to lean into your rituals, reflect and turn inward. This is a time of growth and to come into your higher self. The backs are a bit plain maybe, but at the same time it's calming, it's reversible. I think it fits the mood of the deck perfectly. And then there are the cards. Now I know I call these videos first impressions, but I realized that I'm often very bad at giving my actual first impressions. Usually these videos just show the cards and then I play around with some pairs. But for this deck I will try to give just a few things that I noticed. First of all, I absolutely love the gilding. It is a matte golden gilding that has just a hint of a shimmer in it, and I absolutely love it. I also really love the cardstock. It is this matte cardstock that is not too slippery but also doesn't stick. And according to the Kickstarter page, this is a 350 GSM cardstock. The cards feel pretty sturdy, which is something that I really love because I'm an overhand shuffler. But I can completely understand that this might not be the best deck for riffle shuffling. I might also be completely wrong about that. We will have to see if somebody shares their experience with this deck who is good at riffle shuffling, and hopefully they will share if they enjoy shuffling this deck that way. Like I said, for me as an overhand shuffler, this cardstock is absolutely lovely. It's matte, it doesn't stick, it makes this lovely noise when you push the cards around, and the cards feel nice and sturdy. As far as the illustration style goes, I absolutely love it. I think the colors and the style of the illustrations have this very calming vibe. The deck roughly follows the RWS system, although especially with the majors there were some cards where my first response was, I'm curious to find out what the guidebook says about this card. You know, just to find out what the interpretation of the creator is and why certain choices were made. Let's look at the devil, for example. The devil. Self-reflection, restriction, hard truths, shadow work. The devil is inside all of us. It lives in your insecurities, your shame, the things that you were taught or internalized that are keeping you small. We all have parts of ourselves that need work, and the devil card is the mirror you need to look into to face those parts of yourself. The devil is an invitation to take a truthful look into any unhealthy habits or limiting beliefs and liberate it. There is freedom in becoming familiar with your darkness. Themes and symbols. The mirror, revealing truths, portents, portals, insight. Roots, ancestral healing, perceived limitations and stability. The willow tree, survival, withstanding hardships and difficult emotions, adaptability. I think the majors are absolutely beautiful, and they are also just slightly different enough from the RWS to kind of intrigue me and to give a bit of my own interpretation to the illustrations, or it makes me want to check out the guidebook to see what the creator's thoughts are on the card. And then the minors are pretty pippish. I am not a fan of pip decks at all. I really love illustrated pips just because I really love illustrations, and I am a visual person and I just love to see the whole scene depicted instead of just a number of wands or cups. That being said, I absolutely love the calming vibes of the minors. There are some small hints for most of the minors that relate to the meaning of the cards. They aren't super obvious in my opinion, but they are there. Or at least they are there enough so you can kind of fill in the blanks yourself. Then for the court cards, I noticed that the page is always an object, and that really was noticeable. And then we have the knight, the queen, and the king. I also really love it when the color schemes of the different suits are very distinguishable. So for once we have this beautiful kind of red, orange, pink color that is really warming. The cups are kind of a lilac. And again we have the page of cups with being objects, and then the knight, the queen, and the king. The swords are green, which I would have personally picked for the pentacles, with maybe a more cooler or blue tone for the swords. And then we have the pentacles in kind of this darker green, almost green brown shade. So those are kind of my first thoughts on the deck. Now I'm going to shuffle the cards and play around with some pairs. I have absolutely no idea if the lighting will be sufficient to even include those pairs in the video. But we'll see. I just feel like playing around a bit with this beautiful new deck. And that's the Lighted Window Tarot. I think especially after shuffling the cards, I feel that the whole deck is really coming together. The colors just go so well together, but there is also enough difference, especially within the minors, between the different suits, to really bring out some accent colors in the deck. But at the same time, there is also a very strong unity within the illustrations and the colors used. I'm bringing in even more candles because I am quickly losing daylight, but I just don't feel like stopping yet. So I randomly picked a few oracle decks that I feel like could pair well with this deck, so let's see what they look like together. Let's start with the How to Be a Wildflower deck by Katie Daisy. I absolutely love this deck. I love the happy, colorful, cozy illustrations. I love the fact that on one side of the cards you have illustrations, and on the other side of the cards you have beautifully illustrated quotes or phrases or affirmations. And I feel like this is such a bright and happy summer deck for me. I absolutely love using it in that season. And let's see how these two look together. I feel like these go pretty well together. So let's try the Dream Ritual Oracle. This is a lovely little oracle deck with beautiful whimsical illustrations. So obviously the whole color scheme of these decks fit each other really well. Not completely blown away yet, but it was a fun one to try out, and that is the Dream Ritual Oracle. Now let's try out the Hollow Valley deck of symbols. Yeah, I really love these two together. I love seeing these little synchronicities between the drawings with the flame of the candle and then of course the moon in the window. So that's the Hollow Valley deck of symbols. The Seed and Sickle. I think this one will look very, very good with this tarot deck. The Seed and Sickle is a deck that I hardly use, just because it doesn't really speak to me right away, and I really have to rely on the guidebook. And it's super unfair because for one deck I absolutely love doing that, and for other decks it is my biggest point of criticism. So there is no rhyme or reason to it. But I do have to say that this combination of these two decks is probably the most aesthetically pleasing one yet. And that was the Seed and Sickle Oracle. For fun, I also would like to try the Woodland Wardens. I actually also really love these two together. The nice thing about the Woodland Wardens is that it has both the name of the animal and the plant or flower, but then on top of that it also has a keyword. And even though the art styles are completely different, I do feel like there is a lovely balance here between these two decks. So this is actually also a combination that I will try out again, and that's the Woodland Wardens. So I really hope you enjoyed this random, spontaneous first impressions video by candlelight. I wasn't really planning on it, and I have no idea if everything will be visible enough for me to even post this. But I had so much fun sharing this beautiful new deck with you, and to just play around with some oracle decks to pair this one with. As usual, I will leave all the information for the decks shown down below, in case you're interested and want to check them out for yourself. And those were my first impressions of the Lighted Window Tarot. And I wish you all a beautiful rest of your day or night, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!